Do welcome back to K24 This Morning. My name is Mungala Mbuvi, and this is where we get to a social hour and talk about relationships since it is Thursday. And today, I am joined by Jennifer Karina, an author of the book Marriage Built to Last. Now, is your marriage built to last? Are you gearing towards one? We shall be talking about that and much more. Actually, this is part of a 4-part series as far as marriage is concerned. We started off talking about a lot of things, but right now we're closing in on the real deal. So, are you in the real deal? Karibu tena sana, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me.
Author, motivational speaker, entrepreneur, speaker, and trainer. Oh my God, you have so many titles. And that is why I keep on saying that wewe ni gwiji, wewe ni sensei. But welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, can we just
joy.
jump right in there and start talking about what we want to talk about today?
We can jump in.
It's about courtship, and in chapter 2 of your book, which starts at page 13. I've been reading this book, by the way.
Good.
Quite insightful.
Good.
It talks about successful courtship. But can we start by defining what courtship is? Because according to different generations, courtship has been defined and described in so many ways.
Yes. Now, courtship is a relationship that you begin that has an objective, and the objective is marriage.
Okay.
So you are in a courtship relationship. In a courtship relationship, it is a supervised relationship. You have mentors that are guiding you, that is parents, maybe your pastors, or a senior mentor who's married and who walks the journey with you.
Okay.
At the end of the day, courtship is really a very special time of discovering one another.
Wow.
It's not about the physical engagement, because you're not supposed to be in physical engagement in the courtship. All right? It's basically a time where you evaluate the relationship with supervision. After that, you are certain that this relationship can indeed end up being in marriage.
All right.
Yes.
I think I'm going to read something from the book, starting with the first paragraph of that particular chapter. So this is what it says. Courtship is the traditional dating period before engagement and marriage. During courtship, a couple gets to know each other before deciding whether to take their relationship to the next level of commitment. Courtship is serious business, as it is the time for both parties to discern if the friendship can grow into a permanent relationship or not. Any possibility of marriage should be discussed and agreed upon, and not merely assumed or implied.
Absolutely.
So before we even dissect that paragraph, is there a difference between dating and courtship, just for clarity's sake?
Yeah, dating is really fun, just having fun. What are we doing? We are just dating. Dating is, you can date anyone. Right. Give me a date after the show, okay?
We meet for coffee.
We meet for coffee. It's not a relationship that is intended for permanence or for an objective as marriage.
Wow.
It's dating is really just about having fun, meeting, and sometimes dating is about bed, breakfast, and dinner.
Okay.
Done. I didn't quite like what I had, and it's okay. So if you are dating, it's not courtship. It's completely assumed that dating is courtship, but it is not. Courtship is one that has an objective of marriage. Dating, we're just having fun, checking one another out, and let's just enjoy.
So what happens when we are courting with a lady, and then, I don't know, 3 months down the line, I realize she's not the girl that I want, and I walk out? Is that still courtship, or now I can say I was dating her?
It is actually still courtship. And when you discover that it is not the kind of a person that you really want, I think it takes courage to accept and acknowledge that it's not the person that you really want. And so anyone that walks out on a courtship relationship is very courageous and very smart. And the best thing to do, I commend anyone that says, you know what, I don't think this is what I want. I'm signing up for a lifetime commitment. And because it's not working, I'd rather we call it a day. And so the better part of it is that you are not alone. You will have your mentor, your parents, or your pastor, somebody that is walking the journey with you in courtship, who will help you end the relationship without so much drama and not so much emotional turmoil.
Right. And actually, there is a part in that particular chapter that you are talking about when someone should walk away. That's page 24. You say, the following are definite warning signs which should not be ignored. Number one, physical abuse, no matter how slight. Emotional abuse, disrespect, financial mismanagement or unaccountability, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, irresponsibility, excessive and insensitive socializing, infidelity, and untrustworthiness. And there's a part where you actually say that if someone is that kind of person, they're not going to change, especially if they're physically abusive.
Exactly.
But aren't we taught to be, during courtship and even during marriage, to be patient with our partners? And try and understand why probably they're doing the things that they're doing. But according to this, you're saying, for instance, when you said physical abuse, no matter how slight, jitoe.
Toka kabisa.
Okay.
You know, the thing is, in courtship, you're beginning to know someone. When somebody is going to be abusive during courtship, it means that they are not emotionally stable. And emotional stability is one of the core fundamental issues about choosing a relationship with someone. If they are not stable emotionally, you shouldn't get involved. Now, if someone has the capacity to beat you, slap you, abuse you in courtship, oh my goodness, they'll kill you in marriage. And so it's better to end a courtship relationship than to sign up a lifetime of misery.
Okay, a lifetime of misery.
A lifetime of misery.
Quite an interesting way of putting it. But and I would like to rope in the audience into this particular conversation. You can reach to us through our social media pages at K24 TV across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also SMS us on 21222. The question of the day, which I'd like us to engage on today, which I'll be sharing with you in a couple of minutes, is basically about your courtship. And a lot of people, from what I've gathered from you, is they're not doing any of these things that you're saying. We are finding ourselves in situations, actually situationships for lack of a better word. Because a lot of us are getting married because, oh, I got Susan pregnant. Or the reason why I'm with this man is because he's financially securing me, he's paying my rent, and so on and so forth. Don't you think that this probably is the thinking from back in the day, probably during your time, and times have changed?
Well, I must admit that courtship is the traditional way and has been the situation. Now, times have changed. All you need to do is speed dating, so they call it. And on speed dating, we are just having an hour or two. You are going around having a drink. You are checking each other out. And that speed dating, by the end of the evening, you decide, actually, James sounds good enough for me to have. And from speed dating, it's usually next. What's next? Physical intimacy begins right there. So actually, you do not get to know the person. The minute you become physically intimate with someone you have a fantasy or a lustful feeling for, you lose your objectivity. And the minute you lose your objectivity, then your judgment and evaluation of a person really ends right there. For marriage, there are things that are good to keep in the tradition of what it ought to be. Marriage is a journey in terms of courtship that requires a bouncing board. Meaning, you don't just meet someone and go all the way without having some mentor to tell, I met this guy or I met this girl. She's from here and there and whatever. Even as I say that, I'm reminded that really in my days of dating and courtship, when you met a guy, for example, the first thing you were advised to do is introduce that person to your parents.
Without even knowing them?
If you're going to the movies, let me speak on my own behalf. The day that Bob asked me for a date, I said, no problem, I'll be happy to come. But you need to come and just
let my parents know
you're
taking me out.
You're taking me out. So it doesn't matter that it's Bob today and James tomorrow. the most important thing is that parents know that my daughter
Jennifer is with Bob.
Is with, yeah.
And actually, because I read in the book that you met Bob at a wedding, your eyes met, he was a photographer, you were attending the wedding, there was some kind of electricity.
Yes.
But that was 41 years ago.
I know.
Probably much longer than that.
Yes.
Because you dated for you courted for 3 years, then you guys get into a relationship.
Yes.
However, looking at the way things are today, we don't get to meet, okay, fine, we meet at weddings, fine. We meet at birthday parties and so on and so forth. However, nowadays we are meeting here. I am meeting a girl on Facebook and Twitter and so on and so forth. And we have that electricity, but on the phone.
Yes.
And when we meet, where are we meeting? We are not meeting at a restaurant. We are not meeting at a wedding. She's coming to my place and I'm going to hers.
Yes.
What do you expect, Jennifer?
Oh,
well, we're going to have that intimacy.
It's cool. And you know, we have to recognize we are in the digital age.
Right.
And so meeting online is really more often than not today.
Right.
Whether intentionally or by coincidence.
Right.
And it's fine meeting online. And you know what? But an online engagement requires a physical engagement for learning to know who is it. Did you know that many times if you see the picture of a girl online and you meet her, you'll be wondering, is she the same one? Is she the same one? And so even the mannerism and the person, the language, the person online, I call them a virtual lover. Okay? The virtual lover is a totally different person in person. And if they are the same, very good. What basically needs to happen is that you need to engage, to know one another, and certainly not in your house and not in your bed.
Yes.
Period. If you want to...
What if I live in a bed sitter? That's on a light note.
I know that.
Okay.
You know, the minute you begin a relationship by meeting in somebody's house, I think you've already violated the boundaries.
Okay.
And the house is really not the best thing. What basically actually happens, you know, young people need to protect themselves from themselves and also from others, because you may not even know how to say no, and two, you could get raped.
Absolutely true.
Because you don't even know whether you're going into a gangster's home. So do yourself a favor. If you've met someone online, it's cool. And by all means, get to know them. But how do you know them? You need to go to a restaurant. You need to go to safari, you know, the park. You don't, if you can't afford a drink, it's fine. Just meet somewhere and just have a chat.
All right.
But the most important thing is you need to know this person. What amazes me, I meet so many people who were in a dating and they eventually began to live together.
Okay.
Cohabiting. Cohabiting.
Okay.
I don't even want to call it cohabiting. It's really come we stay.
Yes.
All right?
Okay.
They do come we stay. And when they do come we stay, the parents do not know. They have a child, they have two. Parents do not have an idea where they are. And then they discover the man that married them actually had another wife. Or this woman was in another relationship, have two children, and now he or she's pregnant with my child. Wow. What am I going to do? That is the danger.
Okay.
The important thing about courtship is that you get to know not only the lover, but their families. So you cannot be in a courtship relationship with someone who you don't know, a brother, a friend, a cousin or somebody. I can't tell you how many people I meet who I ask a simple question. If your boyfriend had an accident, who are the three people
that you can
call? They have no idea. I have never met his friend. I don't know his family.
I don't even know where he comes from.
I don't know. I know he tells me where he comes from. He tells me. I know right there that relationship is heading nowhere.
Okay.
And so that is the importance of involving others and also getting to know this person. We are also in a long-distance relationship, and that's another dating. So you
can I ask the audience the question of the day now, so that they can get to answer through our various social media pages? Okay, so it's a very simple one. Would like your engagement on this, and here is the question that we want you to answer. How long should courtship last? How long should courtship last? Are you going to do it for a day? Are you going to do it for a week? Are you going to do it for a month? Kindly let us know on our SMS line 21222. You can also find us on Twitter at K24 TV. We're definitely looking forward to that interaction. We do have Kagwema from Limuru. Kagwema, good morning.
Good morning to you, Buvi. How are you, my dear?
I'm quite fine, sir.
You're having a wonderful discussion with Karina, Jennifer.
Asante sana.
I just want to contribute and say that well, the rise of courtship actually depends on one individual to the other.
Yes.
But the fact that the courtship is long does not mean that marriage will last.
Okay.
So this depends with the people from one area to the other.
Yes.
But I want to say that when people are courting,
yeah,
there is a lot of secrets. They hide their true self, okay?
Yes.
They don't put their strong foot forward.
Okay.
You only have to discover other things when you're in that marriage.
Yes.
You can even court for 10 years and you don't discover things really well. So when you come to stay with somebody, that's the time you come to know what kind of a person you are having.
All right.
So some of these things like courting and dating and all that, I don't know what can be done, but the actual person comes out in marriage, actually.
So let me ask you something, Kagwema.
Maybe somebody smells very bad at night. You cannot know when you are courting her because you do not live together.
Yes.
Maybe somebody does not like sex. Somebody does not like religion. Somebody that practices some other funny things, and they hide from you what I call secrets.
True.
You know? So I think ask Jennifer to expose some of these things because they later bring a lot of challenges in life.
Kagwema, let me ask you something. How long should someone court for?
The length of courting.
Yeah, how long should it last before you get married?
I should say less than 1 year.
Less than a year, eh?
Yeah, because when I was courting my late wife, for me, I courted her for less than a month, and we stayed for that years.
Thank you very much, Kagwema.
So that is the position. So courtship depends on the individual and the personality of somebody.
Asante sana. So he courted for a year. They lived together for 30 years before the wife passed away.
Yes.
So can we just, what he has said, first of all, he has said, you can court someone for whatever period of time, but you start discovering things about them after marriage, which I think is also chapter 3 of your book. Is he, first of all, saying the truth?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The truth of the matter is, first and foremost, you will never know somebody fully by even just engaging with them.
True.
Somebody said, show me your 5 friends and I'll tell you who you are. So associations also matter greatly. I mean, you don't need to say very much, but out of your associations, I could tell a bit about who you really are. Number 2, out of who your parents are, I can also know who you are because of the aligned values, traditions, beliefs, environment, and all that. Now, when it comes to the real person, everybody grows. And that's the biggest challenge where the marriage is concerned. So when you're courting a girl, she could be 20, a young man could be 25. These are a young couple. Maybe they are 30, 32. They are still young.
Yes.
By the time they are in their 40s, you say, this is not the person I married. And that's what I discovered. Yeah. That's why the 3rd chapter of my book says, this is not the man I married.
Yes.
I mean, he's perfect. But to me, my perception and expectations, they are not being met.
There's a gentleman, the son of Osama bin Laden, one of the world's most wanted men, or rather men, who died a couple of years ago. The son is actually living in America right now, married, and he dissociated himself from his father and his organization, Al-Qaeda. Yes. Don't you think that we could be judging someone? I could be judging that chick or that guy depending on his family. And before you answer that one, sorry, we do have a Karaoke on the line. Karaoke, good morning. Good morning, Karaoke.
Good morning.
How are you doing, sir?
Nobody.
What is your question or comment?
Actually, it's on that courtship issue.
Yes.
And there is a lot of faking in the relationship that we come across.
Okay.
You find that somebody is showing you a different picture.
True.
And then when you get into, you start trying to know the person. You either get the relationship is broken.
Yes.
Or the guy or the girl continue playing a different person until they get into marriage. And especially
yes,
now that we are in a stage where everybody is looking for the material gain, not the person himself.
Okay.
And so these are really a big issue.
Thank you very much, Karaoke.
So how would that be addressed by the society? Because at the end of the day, the product that comes out of such marriage
yes,
is a responsibility of the society.
Okay.
In either way, either we are going to have a kid who is not having a father, and then at the end of the day, the mother is not able to raise up that kid, so he becomes a problem in the society.
Thank you, Mr. Karaoke, for that. Asante sana. He has raised a valid point. Collins from Ruaka, good morning.
Hello.
Collins.
Yes.
What is your question or comment?
I'm Benny.
Yes.
The thing is, I've got a problem with my marriage.
You have a what?
A problem with my marriage.
Yes.
I could like to be advised with someone who knows better than, you know.
Okay.
So how can I get help this?
Dennis.
Yes.
That problem, probably you need to define it a bit more so that we can see how we can assist. When you say a problem, what exactly is the problem?
It's between me and my wife. The
yes.
thing is, my wife she's older than me.
Okay.
And there are some things happening in between which I never knew. We meet after like 4 months. And we get married. And we get to stay, we stay.
Yes.
I don't know how to put this, but it's like we stay. So unfortunately, she's pregnant.
She got pregnant?
Yeah. And she has a connection. She has a connection. She has been calling my family. I have my brother's number, my sister's number. So, but at the moment, I've seen something that I never knew that would come. I see something.
Dennis, unapotea kidogo, but is the problem the fact that she's pregnant or because there's another issue?
She's pregnant.
Yeah.
And I don't like her behavior.
Okay.
And I'm just confused, man.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dennis, for that. Okay. So she's pregnant. And I think he has said he doesn't like her or like the family.
Yes.
He's breaking a bit. But I think we get the point here. He probably rushed into this.
Yes.
Can we stay, then you get pregnant?
Yes.
Probably you can address that one right away.
I'm sorry. Well, one of the things I would say is that as much as possible, it's really important to stay away from the physical. You know, when you meet somebody who you get attracted to, I mean, you lust for them. You don't know whether you love them. You only know you love someone after you get to know them. Now, in terms of the dating and bringing somebody home and getting physical and getting pregnant, it's such a dynamic, it brings so many issues.
Yeah.
Because now you are expected to get married because you're pregnant, but you don't feel for this person. You're not ready to get married. Well, because of being a gentleman, you say, okay, because I would want to be a part of this journey, let me just marry you and be it. This is what generally happens. The minute that you commit to marry that person, you will provide for them, but you hit the road looking for the other person who you have imagined in your mind is the right partner.
Right.
Maybe that was the right partner, but because the timing was not right, you feel, what can I call it?
pressured?
Pressured. You are pressured to make a decision that you are not ready for.
Yes.
The thing is, how beautiful would it be to make a decision based on the environment, based on the individual, based on a pure mind, and decide, I'm ready for marriage, I am looking for a wife.
Yes.
These are the 5 qualities I'm looking for. These are the 3 non-negotiables. And now you are looking with some order in your mind.
You're saying that we should have some non-negotiables.
Non-negotiables.
Lazima hizo zikuwe.
Yes.
No matter what happens.
Exactly.
But again, coming back still to the gentleman that just called and said that he has a problem. I think probably and it's a problem that we all face. He wasn't, like what you said earlier on, he wasn't caught with the prospects of marriage.
No.
He was just having fun.
Yes.
And now his fun has become a baggage.
Exactly.
And there's no way out of this?
Yes.
Is there a way out of it?
Well, you don't have to marry if you don't want to.
Okay.
Yes.
So it doesn't have to end up in marriage?
No, it doesn't. What you can be able to do is accept that this is my child.
And break this girl's heart.
Break her heart because that was not what you wanted. And, you know, apologize and pay for it. Even in our olden days, in the traditional days, if you made a girl pregnant and you didn't want to marry her, the elders came together and there was a fine. You pay it. Today, there is if you have a child out of marriage, it is expected that this child, number 1, will be supported, educated, and will inherit your property.
Okay.
Yes.
We take a short break right now, but when we return, we shall be answering Kariuki's question, which he said that, you know, you marry someone, then you discover a different situation about them, they are pretending. Same thing that Kagwema said. So probably we'll look at what exactly you need to be looking for while courting, just in case you discover someone, or rather you're afraid of someone cheating, or rather becoming something else in the future. So don't go anywhere. We shall be right back.